this is Ogre Boy, and I finally got Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker today, and I rewatched it for the first time since I saw it in the movie theaters and everything. So I decided I'm gonna go ahead and do a re-review on this movie and talk about some of the spoilers and stuff that I didn't talk about when I reviewed it back when it first came out, because I kept it spoiler-free. I really do like this movie quite a bit. I think it's a really good entry in the franchise and everything. There are some things about this that I didn't like, though. Like they really did play it safe and everything after the backlash of The Last Jedi being so different from The Force Awakens. And it's one thing that I've seen a lot of common criticisms that I agree with, that it makes it where the trilogy just doesn't feel even, because the first movie sets up something, the second one completely wipes out everything from the first movie, and then the second one, or the third one I mean, tries to be more of a sequel to the first one and also be a concluding story to all 9 movies. And I feel like it is a little bit convoluted and stuff because of that. And I think that this was a good movie. I kind of do wish that they would have done it as a 2-parter, though. Like, they had considered doing it as a 2-part movie. I kind of wish they would have. But all in all, I really do like The Rise of Skywalker and everything. I think Emperor Palpatine's return was handled really well. I like that they made it where he's a clone instead of just saying that he survived and everything. I thought that was really good that he's like a clone, which I know they don't directly say it in the movie, but I mean, it's pretty obvious that he is. And I love that about this movie. And I thought Ian Diemord, or Dimord, however you say his last name, I thought he was great as the Emperor once again. It was awesome getting to see him again. And the rest of the cast were all really great once again. Daisy Ridley as Rey was, I think, her best. And I still do think that. Like I said that in my original review, that I think this was her best performance as Rey, and I still stand by that. You know, I think that Adam Driver was still really great as Kylo Ren and everything. I loved Kylo Ren's arc and everything, which I'll talk about here in a little bit. And I also love that, like, we get to see Poe, Rey, and Finn off on an adventure together. I thought that was really awesome, getting to see them together. And I really wish we would have got to see some of that in The Last Jedi, but we didn't really get to see. We finally got to see her meet Poe, but we didn't really see anything in The Last Jedi with them. And the 3 of them together, I mean, hardly. And that's one thing that I don't like about this trilogy, is, like, you know, we don't really get to see our main characters together and everything. But I really like that this one at least did try to do that. And I like the stuff they did with Princess Leia. Like, there wasn't a lot they could do with Carrie Fisher. They used what footage they could. And when I watched it the first time, I felt like it wasn't really noticeable, like how they added her in it. But I somewhat noticed it more after on rewatch, like how something just doesn't seem like you could tell that she's just added in there. But at the same time, I still really like what they did with her story arc and everything. I think they did a really good job, at least ending Leia and paying tribute to the character and stuff like that. Leia had a good story arc. I think it would have been even better if Carrie Fisher would have been alive to be able to play Leia again. But it's what it is, and I think for what they did really great with what they had. And the fight scene, like the big fight scene between Rey and Kylo Ren, like their big lightsaber battle, it was really good. It went on pretty long, actually, surprisingly, but I thought it was actually a really, really good lightsaber fight scene. And I just really enjoy this movie a lot. I still say that it holds up. I don't think I can still say that it's my favorite movie of the year, though. I rewatched Toy Story 4 the other night, and after rewatching this, I think I would say Toy Story 4 is my favorite movie of 2019 instead. But I really do love this movie, though, and I also love like C-3PO, his little story that he gets in it here. Like, he gets to be part of the adventure for the first time in this trilogy, and he actually feels like C-3PO for the first time in years. I absolutely love that. I think it's one of the best performances of the character since probably Return of the Jedi. I mean, he was good in the prequels, don't get me wrong, but this really felt like C-3PO in this movie. I really love that too, and I love like the stuff they did with Chewie, where they made you think that he died and stuff. But when he did get and he finally gets his medal at the end of the movie, which I thought was really, really cheesy and stuff. It's like obvious fan service. It was really corny and cheesy, but I still kind of liked it. I mean, but it is really kind of cringy. And the big reveal about Rey being Palpatine's granddaughter, I still don't really know how I feel about that. I think it's kind of I kind of wish that they would have kept it that she just comes from nobody, or she wasn't connected to somebody. I really like that was one of the things about The Last Jedi that I absolutely loved, that they made the reveal that she wasn't from a special like lineage or anything like that. But I mean, and it was also really predictable. I mean, because you get him coming back, they make it obvious. It kind of made it obvious that somehow she was going to be connected and everything, because it was obvious that she wasn't a Skywalker, because none of the characters knew her before and everything. And I know a lot of people were like, they could have been acting like they didn't know her and stuff to keep it a secret, but I was like, that wouldn't make sense. Like, why would they keep it a secret? Why would they have abandoned her like that? So I like what they did with her story, but I kind of wish they would have just kept it the way it was in The Last Jedi. That's one of the things about this movie that I kind of am annoyed about. It is they totally tried to undo The Last Jedi. Like, kind of makes that movie pointless now, if that makes sense. Like, there wasn't a lot of stuff that happened in The Last Jedi that, you know, like, it doesn't really make sense now. Like, and like, the thing with Luke's characterization, I know a lot of people were mad about how Luke was handled in The Last Jedi, and in this movie it pretty much gives that the middle finger and everything by making him say that he was wrong and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah, but he was doing what Obi-Wan did and Yoda did and stuff. Like, I just didn't really like the way that this movie changed everything from The Last Jedi and everything, because I personally did love The Last Jedi, and now it makes the trilogy feel so uneven and everything. I can completely understand why people would say that this trilogy is just not done very well, because it wasn't all mapped out what they were planning on doing, and I think it was a big mistake doing things the way they did with some of the stuff in here. But at the same time, I also do love this movie. I mean, it's a really good Star Wars movie, and it has a lot of fan service, and as a big fan of Star Wars, I mean, I don't deny that I don't love a lot of the stuff they did and everything. For all the bad stuff, there's still just as much good stuff too. I think that, like, the little MacGuffin story that they did with the searching for the little Sith thingies that like will tell them how to get to Palpatine. it kind of did get a little bit slow, but it was still kind of fun. I like one of my favorite scenes in the movie is when they were sinking in the sand and everything. It just kind of reminded me like of adventure movies that I used to watch as a kid, because in the 90s and stuff, it really did seem like quicksand was going to be really much more deadlier than it was, because of all the movies I used to watch as a kid. I thought that was kind of it was kind of cool seeing that and everything, but this movie does have a scene that really, really makes me cringe really bad, and it's at the very end of the movie when, after Rey takes Luke and Leia's lightsabers and buries them on Tatooine, and the woman's like, "Who are you?" and she says Rey, and then they ask her she says, "Rey who?" and she says, "Ray Skywalker." It's just a really cringy moment, like you're not even a Skywalker, why are you... I get what she was trying to do, she's trying to pay tribute to them, but it just came off as really, really cringy. But I will say though that this does have one of my favorite movie kisses though, because someone who's been a big Reylo shipper for quite a while now, I gotta say I absolutely love that Rey and Kylo Ren did kiss at the end of the movie, or it was actually Ben, because I mean he'd gone back to being good, but that kiss scene was awesome and everything. But yeah, like I said, I just feel like some of the stuff in this movie could have been handled better, but I think they still did a decent enough job. I think that the script that Colin Trevorrow had written for the movie, which would have been called Star Wars: The Duel of the Fates, would have actually been a much better ending to the franchise and everything. But I think this one was alright, and it's good enough. It's not the best ending. It could have been done a lot better, but it's definitely not disrespectful in a lot of ways. I think it's a decent way to end the Star Wars saga, and it was a decent enough movie. I also love that we got to see Han Solo back too for a few minutes, even though it was really weird because Harrison Ford didn't like cut his hair or shave or anything, because I guess he was trying to grow his beard out for that new movie that just came out with him. But it was still really cool getting to see him for a few minutes too. But now, like I said, this movie had a lot of fan service and everything, and it's predictable and stuff. In some ways, I wish it would have done more risky stuff and wouldn't have tried to backtrack so much on what happened in the previous movie. But at the same time, I also do really like this movie quite a bit. So I'd say I give Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker 9 out of 10. But it has dropped a little bit on my list of favorite movies of last year, and it probably will drop a little bit on my ranking, because after seeing it the first time, I had put it at number 3, but I think it probably would drop down a little bit more after rewatch and doing a lot of thinking. But all in all, I really do like this movie, and I think that it's a decent movie. Things could have turned out a lot better, but it could have been a lot worse. I'm not one of those type of Star Wars fans that really likes to complain about everything because I really love almost everything we get. I never really do complain about stuff in here, but like I said, the stuff that does annoy me, it doesn't annoy me to an extent where I just can't stand the movie. And I can understand though why some people do hate it for that reason though, if that makes sense. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.